Allison here from Ascending Spirit. Today I am going to talk to you a little bit about the bitter taste. So, in Ayurveda, we like to have all six tastes represented at every meal. Those six tastes are sour, bitter, sweet, salty, pungent, and astringent. The reason why I want to talk about bitter today is because it's October 6th. We have moved officially into autumn. And typically, what people, when they start feeling imbalanced around this time, it's because they have so much heat trapped in the body and it kind of flares and creates this really explosive reaction in the body because the body starts to get inflamed. And one of the things that bitters do is they help to get things moving. So when the body gets inflamed, it means that you have constriction. The tissues become hardened or reddened. They get swollen. And so you start to hang on to a little bit more water. You're starting to hang on to a little bit more lymph. And things are no longer moving out of the body at a rate that would be consistent with helping to keep you in homeostasis. This is one of the reasons why we do a cleanse every autumn, is so that we can remove that heat and make sure that we can flush the system, open up the channels, get bile moving again so that lymph can move and we can detox before we start adding on layers of fat for the winter. Fat is a wonderful storage unit. It will hang on to pretty much everything that the body doesn't know what to do with. So if you have additional calories you can't burn, it goes into the fat. If you have chemicals that your body doesn't know what to do with, like sodium lauryl sulfate or preservatives that are so rampant in our foods, dyes, chemicals, things of this nature, it will get stored in your fat. Heavy metals also get stored in the fat. And so what we do is try to purge and get rid of some of those toxins and a lot of the fat layer with a deep fat metabolizing cleanse. Well, if you haven't been able to do the cleanse by October 31st, then another alternative is to try to balance out what you're feeling in the body by using an opposite. Okay, so let's talk about that. Summer is the fire element. It's very hot. Everybody ends up getting a little overheated. We get overexerted. We're doing a lot of things. The sun is baking us. It's up higher in the sky, so we have more daylight hours to play. And what typically happens is people may drink a little bit more alcohol. They're eating a lot more red meat because it's grilling season. We're having more ice cream, which is super acidic because of all that refined sugar. And we've just basically introduced an environment in our body where we're no longer alkaline. And when we're not alkaline, we cannot push out waste and we cannot detox our body. And so what happens is that fire element will increase and you may start to experience symptoms like tummy distension, or maybe heartburn, inflammation and acid reflux that's coming back up. Maybe you start getting hives on the skin or acne on the face. In severe cases, when the liver is really needing to detox, you may feel knots in your upper back behind your shoulder blades, in particular behind the right shoulder blade. If you feel some crunchy stiffness going on in there, that's typically a sign that the liver is struggling. So the bitter taste actually helps to increase saliva and it gets things moving. When you increase saliva, this is the first place where we begin to digest. Okay, so your mouth creates salivary amylase and lipase, which is critical for breaking down carbohydrates and fat. And so when we create saliva, we start and kick off all of the digestive process. Now, bitters also help to create and stimulate peristalsis. So they get things moving in the GI, which means that they start to push things back down, which would decrease the acid reflux. That's why bitters are often used to reduce heartburn. Another great thing about bitters is that they reduce the craving for sugar. And sugar is very acidic, especially if you're eating a lot of refined sugar. So when the pH of the blood gets lower than 7.3, it becomes very acidic and it makes it that much harder for the tissues of the body to respond and to let go of the deep stored toxins. So when you're having these kind of flare-ups, if you will, of that fire element, eating a little bit of bitters will help to reduce the heat. It will help to get things moving in the GI. It will actually help to stimulate bile production, which helps the liver to flush, and that bile is necessary for reducing fat, When you get things moving, you actually burn more calories. So your metabolism increases as well. So, what are the bitters? Well, any bitter leafy green, root vegetables such as turnips, uh, beets, things like this, as well as all of the culinary herbs. So think about oregano, basil, parsley, cilantro, mint. These are all bitters, and they will get things moving. They're a cholagogue, they're a secretagogue. They will get you back in the saddle of no longer feeling so heavy, no longer feeling so distended, and they will truly help to reduce that fire and that heat element in the body. So introduce some bitters into your diet. Don't go overboard because they can actually they will lead to a drying out. And as you're moving into autumn, when things are getting already dry, you're seeing the leaves drop because they're drying out, you're seeing a lot more wind whipping around. You don't want to dry yourself out even more. So you don't want to go overboard on it, but you do want to get some things moving, and you do want to get that bile production going so that you can detox your liver. I hope this was helpful. Enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.